Welcome back to Boxing Hideout TV. I'm your host, Juice8888, and today we are going to discuss. Oh, sorry. Welcome to Boxing Hideout TV, home of the ass whooping. Make sure you go to boxinghideout.com and visit with some of the fellas there. There might be some women there. I don't know. Some of them act like bitches, so I guess it could be some women. I don't know. Anyways, check out boxinghideouttv.com. If you don't like what they got to say, give them the middle finger. Give them an online middle finger, of course. But go there and register and sign up for boxinghideout.com. Today we're going to talk about Keith Thurman and him calling out Bud Crawford. Um, Keith is out of his rabbit ass mind, and I'm sure many other people will agree with this. Um, my theory is that Keith hasn't been focused on boxing, and he's even a lesser version of what Mikey Garcia was just however weeks ago that was. Keith Thurman is in a worse situation than Mikey Garcia, and we're going to discuss that right now. Let me get into it. Let's get this going right now. BoxingHideoutTV.com. Uh, Here we go. All right. We're going to get into this today. Um, Visit boxinghideout.com once again. Uh, Go to the YouTube channel Boxing Hideout TV. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the videos. We're only bringing you that real troll shit. You know what I mean? That real troll shit. You know what I mean? They're not really giving you the truth. Some of these boxing podcasts are legit, and some of them are uh, selling you some dreams with some false information. But we're not going to get into that right now. We're going to talk about some real stuff right now. We're going to talk about Keith One Time Thurman calling out Bud Crawford. Keith wants to smoke. Keith Thurman is shot. If you thought what Mikey Garcia produced a couple weeks ago was bad, put Keith Thurman in the ring right now with Terrence Crawford, and he's going to get smoked, and it will be in 5 rounds or less, guaranteed. It's not going more than 5 rounds if he gets in there. Bud will take 2 rounds to fill him out, 3 rounds. The next 3 rounds, any time in between there, that chin is getting touched up, and it's a wrap. Keith is not focused on boxing and hasn't been focused on focused on boxing in years. The last 2 times we've seen Keith Thurman, he was in a life or death struggle with one a 45-year-old senator, and another one was a guy. Josepito Lopez is a very good gatekeeper, but and he did his job as a gatekeeper. He put some hands on Keith and made him think. Keith weathered the storm, and you won the fight. Um, there's levels to this, and there's a higher level and a lower level. Right now, I don't think Keith Thurman is focused on boxing. I don't think that he is at a high level right now at all. And I even take it another step. Let's take a look at how this all came about, and we're going to try to see if we could find the origins of who ruined Keith Thurman. It was either Shawn Porter or Danny Garcia. Now, he lets Keith has made it clear that Danny Garcia punches hard. He didn't hide that. Okay. He made it clear that Danny Garcia punches harder than Shawn Porter. He didn't hide that either. What we know is in both of those fights, he took a different type of abuse and punishment in two different manners. Shawn Porter's headbutts, elbows, and things of that nature, and Danny Garcia is just a hard puncher, and that's it. He's gonna land some punches. It wasn't Keith Thurman didn't get out of there punched without getting hit. So that's how that was. He won by 1 point. He had to get hit. He only won by 1 point, so he had to get hit at some point. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is this: Keith said his injuries, he had to go take time off to go uh, deal with his injuries, and during this time, he got married, all fine and dandy, and so during the press conferences and stuff, they now started to ask him questions about his personal life. They didn't really ask. They used to ask him about his Ben Getty. He used to always talk about his former trainer all the time. And then all of a sudden they started asking questions. How you feel about being married? And you know, we got to see a tender side of Keith. They knew he was soft. He came back weak. His punch resistance was non-existent. A better fighter than Josepito Lopez would have gotten him out of there. Let's make that clear. He was in there with a tune-up. That was supposed to be a tune-up. He ended up fighting for his life in there. A more better fighter than Josepito Lopez would have gotten him out of there. Let's make that clear as day. Paulie Malignaggi wouldn't have gotten him out of there. No one light fisted, but Josepito's got a little pop in his. He's not a weak puncher. I'm not disrespect him at all. He did his job as a gatekeeper. Lose the fight, but give the guy some tough rounds. To Mr. Lopez, he may honestly in his heart really believe that he showed up to the fight to win. But he wasn't chosen for that purpose. He was chosen to go in there and lose. He almost messed up the plan. I like Josepito Lopez. Very good very good gatekeeper. You need those. Those are different than tomato cans. Good gatekeeper. Not gonna just fall at the. Oh my! You're not gonna just flex your muscles and make him faint. He's gonna try at least. Having the ability to win is different, and trying, or I mean, he just doesn't have the ability to win, but he puts in a good effort. The next fight, Errol Spencer's calling this guy out. Has been calling him out, and I understand what he did. He took the Manny Pacquiao fight. He said it's a one. We don't get these opportunities. This guy doesn't fight all the time, and um, it's going to be a bigger payday. Come on, man. Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman's going to make more money than Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence at that moment, at that point in time. Uh, man, he disrespected Manny all through the promotions, man, and he was supposed to be the bad guy in the promotion. So he played his role. He talked all the smack he wanted to in the fight, and he ended up getting his ass torn out the frame. Manny whooped his ass. Manny is another one who hasn't been focused on fighting in years, but he got enough fire left in him. I mean, he was Ali shuffling against Keith Thurman. He was showboating, showtiming against this fool. Whooped his ass. Keith Thurman was supposed to be representing for the younger generation, and this is supposed to be the takeover for the younger generation. We didn't get that from Keith, now did we? We got another case of an old man whooping a young dude, and then they end up saying, Well, Keith, they couldn't even say he wasn't ready. He was favored to win that fight, and he had been battle tested. That wasn't nothing. No excuses. Got whooped. Repping for the old people. Manny Pacquiao doing his thing. Manny Pacquiao lost to Jeff Horn. Manny Pacquiao had been knocked out cold by Juan Marquez and knocked out by lesser fighters than Keith Thurman. I Marquez had him on a surfboard, you know what I mean, on the ground surfing, you know what I mean. Floyd beat him too, but Floyd's not a knockout puncher, nor was he trying to get the knockout. He was trying to win the fight, which he did. So you thought you were getting, I don't know what version of Manny you thought you were getting, maybe the Jeff Horn Manny, and some people even say that fight was close and that Jeff Horn got a hometown decision. Uh, Hometown decision means you didn't separate yourself from that person. So if it was close enough to be considered a win for the other person, then you just didn't separate yourself. A couple knockdowns, vicious uppercuts, some highlight real stuff. And so you have a decision across the pond or whatever hometown you're in. But it can't be we fought close for 12 rounds and then you sit there and say, I think I won. You're not going to get that decision, son. It's not going to work. It just doesn't work that way. Anyways, I'm proud of Keith for saying that he wants some of the smoke, but Keith is full of shit. Keith has pretty much found a lane to make a career now out of threatening to fight. He gets these interviews in these things, and I hope he has some sort of something monetized that he can gain out of this. I hope he's getting paid from this, but he's basically getting paid or surviving now on the threat of fighting. He hasn't fought in years, man. In years, not last year, or it wasn't pandemic related. He hasn't fought in years. It was the Manny Pacquiao fight, I believe, is right before the pandemic. That was a long time ago, man. It's a long time ago. And prior to that, and prior to those fights, those two fights, because they came in such a short time span, the Josepito Lopez and the the fight with Pacquiao were in the same year. They weren't spread out within years. So prior to those two fights that year, Keith had gone years without fighting then. So I can only go by what we last saw in the ring. What we last saw in the ring is pure gatekeeper status. He's gatekeeper level. In his heart, he may think he's still a champion, but he's coming off a loss. He's not coming off a win. And he's coming off a loss to a old fighter who was trying to pack it up. He brought life into Manny by getting put on his ass. Made He gave Manny another fight. He almost got the arrow. That arrow fight would have been big. Whooping you gave Manny another payday with Errol Spence just because you couldn't hold it down. I know what happened, man. I can tell by the haircut. The haircut. Same thing with Shawn Porter the other day. He's got other stuff on his mind, man. He's not focused on boxing. This dude's got just had a kid. Thank God for that. Bless you and the family. That's a beautiful thing. Nothing wrong with that. That's a very good thing. It's a beautiful thing. I have kids myself. And you have a beautiful wife, man. Congratulations. But those things are soft and tender. That has nothing to do with fighting. When you get in the ring, you can't bring that in the ring. I remember seeing his wife ringside at the Hosapedo fight, and they're showing putting the camera on and stuff like that. And they do that with everybody and stuff like that. But this was different. They were making an issue. He went to Africa and came back a married man. Keith Thurman is back once again. He was cream puff when he got back. You know what I mean? His fighting spirit carried him through the Pacquiao fight, but same with the Ozapito Lopez. A better fighter would have gotten him out of there. Manny wasn't necessarily going for the kill. I have no issue with Keith Thurman, man. I rooted for him his whole career, man. I rooted for him his whole career. But once he cut the hair, I was like, oh yeah, that's what happens when you get married. Your focus on boxing, man, can't his you got to be mean all the time, man. You got to be mean all the time, dude. You can't be soft, man. You can't. You got to be mean all the time. You got to be a fighter all the time. I just don't see. I don't see it. Sorry. Keith Thurman is shot. If he gets in the ring with Bud, he is food. You can repeat that and put it on rewind or whatever the case may be. Keith Thurman is shot. There's no more one time. The only thing he's going to do is get his ass whipped one time if he gets in the ring with the wrong person. His best bet would be take 2 or 3 tune-ups and get his punch resistance back where it needs to be if he plans on fighting at a championship level. He is not ready. After 3 or 4 years, if he gets in the ring and loses, it's going to be a built-in excuse for whoever beats him that you fought and beat a shot fighter. Keith is shot. Okay. Punch resistance, gone. Fire, gone. He will get snuffed if he fights an elite fighter. Take 2 or 3 soft touches. Preferably the first one started off in a club somewhere, get you one of them tough man contest dudes and punish him to get your confidence up. Maybe let the guy get in a shot or two just to test your chin, man, to make sure your chin can hold up. Because last time we seen you was on your ass by a 45-year-old senator. He didn't knock Ugas down, did he? I don't recall him knocking Jeff Horn down. Somehow or another, your soft ass ends up on the ground. Man, take you a couple tune-ups, dude, and then get back in the ring. Don't do it. Don't have Bud be your first fight, man, unless you're just trying to cash out. If you're just trying to cash out, say it. Say, I need a payday. I haven't fought in years. I need this money. You know what I mean? I'll fall down anyways. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to survive no way. I'm not focused on it. Just tell the truth, man. Say you need the money. You have to, man. You ain't fought in years and you just had a new wife and child. Keith Thurman is surviving on threatening to fight. He's not actually fighting. He's just threatening to do it. And people say that nostalgia. Oh, I remember when he was whatever. Keith is shot. Anyways, I would just like to say, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, or go to the website, boxinghideout.com. Tell them Juice sent you. Juice 8888. There you go, right there. Anyways, we're gonna get out of here. Don't forget to like the channel, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. And man, just stay tuned for more videos to come. Don't forget to like the channel or like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next time. This is Boxing Hideout TV, home of the ass whooping. I love that last clip of that. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. We're out. Peace.